I will be demonstrating how to make an Egyptian death mask with a process called paper mache. Here are some examples of ancient death masks I found online. The Egyptians have a long tradition of using masks to provide protection and assist a person's journey in the afterlife. I found this basic mask on Amazon, and then I just used cardboard to cut around the mask to form the shape that I wanted for my Egyptian death mask. This process is done through paper mache, which is very similar to the process that Egyptians used to use when they created their death masks. They used a material that consisted of papyrus or linen that they soaked in plaster. And so, doing this project with paper mache, having it be a similar process, I thought was very fitting for this type of project. I decided to use a recipe I found online using a cup of glue and a cup of water. And then once I mixed that together, I put my newspaper pieces inside that paste and making sure to remove any excess paste to create this sculpture-like finish on my death mask. Now I'm using the pieces of newspaper around the outsides of my mask just to create a nice smooth outer finish to the mask. Once I finished that, I was able to start this process on the blue mask itself. And this is specifically the reason why I chose to use pieces of newspaper instead of chopped up pieces or strips, because I thought that using these small pieces would help me be able to contour the paper to the parts of the mask that I wanted to be highlighted, such as the eyes and the nose and the mouth. I really wanted those to be able to stick out. And it worked really well to be able to use these pieces. They contoured very well to each of those parts. And so I thought this was a very successful way to do that. Once I let the mask dry overnight, I was able to begin painting the mask. I used this very thin slanted paintbrush for a lot of the detailed parts of my mask because I wanted to create these real defined pieces to the mask. I had learned that Egyptians were not supposed to make these death masks appear as portraits, but more of an idealized version of the person. And so I thought this would be a great way for sixth grade students to be able to use their knowledge and learning of ancient Egypt to be able to create something that they would feel it would identify themselves in an idealized way. As you can see, I've used different sizes and shapes of paintbrushes depending on the area of the mask that I'm painting. I use this small brush a lot just because I wanted to have a lot of line work. But on the bigger blue area around the mask, I used more of a broad brush just to be able to have a quicker way to cover that space. I really liked being able to use a lot of lines here. I thought that that was a really fun way to make a design on my mask. But I think that sixth graders specifically, as they study ancient Egypt, would really like to be able to use individuality and creativity as they design their masks. So this is what my mask looked like when I was finished. I was really happy with the way it turned out. I hope you enjoyed this video.